Hi, everyone. I'm Stephanie Rudine, Foundation Director for Hiawatha Homes. Thank you for joining me for another community conversation. This month, I'm joined by Ash, who currently works for our Family Support Services program at Hiawatha Homes Activity Center. Ash is here to share how she incorporates art into the enriching and engaging activities that she plans for the individuals who attend Family Support Services. Thank you, Ash, so much for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Before we jump into some of the awesome projects that you've been doing with FSS, that's kind of the acronym we call Family Support Services, I would love if you could share a little bit about your educational background and your history of working with and at Hiawatha Homes.
So, currently, right now, I'm in an art therapy graduate program and a clinical counseling graduate program at Emporia State University. During the school year, I attend in person, and this summer, I am doing online classes while getting internship hours and spending time back in Minnesota, my home state. My undergrad was in family and child development and psychology, and I actually started with Hiawatha right before I graduated. I started in February 2017 and got taken on into the family supports program. Um, I knew I wanted to work with kids and people with disabilities specifically. So one of the hiring manager actually I knew from many years of knowing her, and she invited me to come work for her. And so I got brought into the program, and then I just continued working there because it was really something that I loved and enjoyed, and I just loved the kids and the type of program that we were able to run with family supports. And so I worked there seasonally sometimes, but a lot of the times year round I worked with family supports. And then during the pandemic I was moved to one of the houses temporarily, um, and I worked there since then and come back to the family supports activity center a few times. And then this summer I got the opportunity to come back to the family support center as in the director position for just to help them out. And it's been really amazing to be able to be there and be part of the program again and really be with the individuals as well.
Thank you. And I know we're really grateful that you stepped in this summer, Ash, and kept this program operating. And with that in mind, can you explain a little bit more to me about what Family Support Services is, what the programming is, and why it's so important for individuals with disabilities in Rochester?
Mhm. So, Family Support Services specifically works with clients who live with their families, mostly their parents or grandparents, specifically helping them to get opportunities outside of the home and outside of their school or work programs that they might not have otherwise. So, getting them into the community, getting them involved with other people with disabilities. That's a lot of our clients have social goals. So getting them involved with each other, getting them interacting and having fun and enjoying having friends is just a really big part of our of the program, right? Even like it was before and even is now. Really just uh, that involvement and interaction, and also just getting to do some fun things like we go bowling every Friday. We went out to Chester Woods this summer and rented a boat and went up paddle boating on the river and the lake out there. We went to the zoo and a lot of these things like we have a wheelchair van so we can take people places. We have lifts and things here so that if they have physical needs, they can we can take care of those physical needs. Versus a lot of times in the community, you might not have the opportunity to have those physical needs met. So their families might be more limited, but we have the supplies and ability to get them those physical needs and have them in a space that understands their needs as well. So that is something that's um,
Yeah.
a lot of what it's about, I think.
Yeah, and it's really important for the individuals that we serve. And I know that in the past, our family support services program was supporting a lot more individuals, and it's a smaller group now because of the staffing crisis and some other issues as well. But, even if it is a smaller group, the fact that you're able to get people out in the community, do a lot of fun things. I mean, you've told me in the past about a lot of the, kind of, for example, the Chesterwood Park or bowling and things like that. And just, it's really great to see more people out in the community now, especially as with, the last few years of isolation.
Mm-hmm.
But to get into kind of the meat of the conversation, Ash, is you're currently pursuing, like you said, a master's in art therapy. And I'd love to know a little bit more about how you incorporate your passion for art and your knowledge in art into your work at Family Support Services.
So my main way of trying to implement art therapy here is to help the clients with their specific goals. So like I said, a lot of the goals for our clients are social goals. So something that I found that really has been good for them is to do social type activities with the art, and then they get really involved in it, and it really just helps them to build the social things. So one of the biggest projects that was like a social project is they really love to play Uno. And so we created our very own Uno cards we glued them all together, cut them out, and put stickers on, did all the coloring. We have so many, like this is only like a handful, and they just loved it and they got really involved. And we've played Uno sometimes and they think it's just, so awesome. They love that they made their Uno cards and they won't stop talking about it whenever we play. They're like, ours, we made. And so it's really sweet, and it got them involved with each other, helping work on the cards with each other. And just Uno is just a really good game for them. It's not too hard, but it's also like challenging enough to get them thinking and getting them like interacting really well. So that's like one thing, and that took several days because we literally made a whole deck of cards. So that maybe even maybe that we made those over 2 weeks or so. And it was just like a good process, and then it got them like, it was more of a longer project, kept them like engaged, and then they didn't have to also work too, like I wasn't forcing anything, and it was much more like we worked on it as much as we needed to that day, and then we were done, and then we could go and do some more the next day. So, and another big one was they just love to play games. So another one is we've made bean bags. We can do a beanbag toss, and each individual like stamped and colored on their own beanbag, and if they wanted to choose something to put on it, they could. This person wanted to put on a ribbon, and there's some more stamping and painting as well, just some painting. And then we stamped and created those, we cut them out, and then I helped punch holes, and they sewed them up and poured in the beans into the bean bag. And so then I helped them sew and get them closed. We just used a pipe cleaner to sew and went through. And so a lot of my training and stuff has been in ways that you can use all the tools you have, like pipe cleaners or whatever, as tools to help things be very adaptive and bring them to the level that the client needs. So, being able to know, like, okay, using a pipe cleaner because like needles might not be safe, and they're also a lot bigger, and also knowing, like, for the person who did this one, I would poke it through and she would pull on it, knowing and being able to adapt things to their level. And that includes like the stamps. Like me using a stamp is much more of an adaptive way to make you be able to do art, just bringing it to what they have the ability to do. And that just really got them involved, and they love playing with their bean bags and playing beanbag toss. And that also works on turn taking and like being able to encourage each other. Oh, you did, you got so close, and being able to have those healthy interactions and with each other as well as you play games. And then another way is there's also some physical goals as well, especially with one of our clients who needs to be able to use her left hand and also be able to walk as well. So a lot of that stamping, if I can try to get her to do some of it with her left hand, and or gluing, just trying to get her to push, sometimes do that with her left hand as well. And for her walking, getting her involved more, I've been using like a little bit of play therapy actually with her, using ping pong balls. And when we go by and she's counting her laps, she gets to put a ping pong ball in the sink. And so that's just like that involvement of that element of a little bit of play and a little bit of like being able to count and stuff has really encourages her to do her laps and be able to know how many she did and pay attention and really be like involved in that process of doing her laps. So those are some of the ways. And there's been lots of other projects as well, like using left hand, doing like marble painting. And a lot of that is, again, adaptive work where like maybe like some clients can do more of like a painting specifically, but being able to adapt it to people who maybe don't have those specific skills. They can make something that looks really cool, but it's, you're literally just rolling marble, you're dipping marbles in paint and rolling them around. So that's a lot of the types of work that have been I've been doing with the clients this summer so far.
I think that the way that you integrate the social goals with the art is so intriguing to me, because I've never really considered personally how those two can actually be intertwined. I guess I always view art as a very individualistic thing. So I think it's really, really interesting how you were able to have something artistic like creating your own Uno cards, but then also have it be a social activity at the same time, and also leading towards a goal of being able to play a game. I think it just shows like how many just different ways you can incorporate art into even daily activities, which I mean, I'm not a very creative artist or artistic person, so that's very inspiring to me. Yeah. And you talked a little bit about the individual's goals, but maybe you could just touch a little more on what you hope to accomplish with the projects you've been doing, maybe just kind of reiterating some of those ideas.
Yeah. So some of the goals, for my client who has goals in walking, say her goal before the pandemic, we'd set up the goal to she would do 15 laps every day, and she hadn't done that for 2 years. And so when she came back, she was only able to do 3 a day.
Oh,
that was it. And so part of my goal with trying to get things more interactive like that was to get those up and make her like not be like done. She's just like, no, I'm done. She's pulling her arms out, and it's just like, okay, I have to listen to her. That's part of our one of our missions is at Hiawatha, our values is making sure that we're being very client-centered, listening to them, what they need, what they want, and not forcing anything, but really still pushing for, that growth and that walking and keeping those abilities, but making sure that it's like something that they're like able and willing to do, that they're not like pushing back against. And so I really was trying to figure out how to get her to really want to do more and really have get that skill back up, because 3 isn't very much compared to what she used to be able to do. And so using the balls as counters has helped tremendously, and she's gotten up to where she's doing 8 every day.
Oh,
wow. A lot of days. Some days she still is only doing 6, but that's far better than just 3. So that's really just improved. And her mom says she's like improved in her like stamina at home as well, and being able to stand up for her when she needs to do her cares. So that I've just definitely seen a huge improvement there. And also just her like enjoyment and ability to do the walking has like improved a lot as well. And she's not quite as like she wants to do it. She's not as like hesitant and like, no, like at first she was like, what? I don't do this. I haven't been doing this. Like, what are we doing? And then getting her like more involved in play and making it fun really helped her to be able to be like, oh, okay, so like walking isn't just this hard, boring thing, that it's like fun, and we, have a good time with it. So
yeah, and think that makes sense for, any individuals, myself included. There's only certain I like to incorporate a fun element to the exercise that I do, whether it's music or anything like that. So it makes sense of finding that what would be either a playful component or an artistic component. With that in mind, do you have any advice for staff that's working with people with disabilities or parents of loved ones with disabilities of how to maybe incorporate art projects into the activities that they do, simple ways, anything like that?
So my advice would be, although you cannot, unless you're a certified art therapist, you can't do art therapy specifically, but you can do art therapeutically. You can do therapeutic art. A lot of it is, there are so many different, you can take almost any craft and make it therapeutic if you, put intention behind it. If you think of what they need and find a way to supply that through play or art or music. If they need something physical, find physical things that they can do that involve art. If they need something social, just you can look at the internet has a lot of ideas, honestly. Look up, art, social art, or art to help with range of motion. Um, just whatever kinds of art, and you can look through the different things and think of what would be the something that would work. But then another thing would be, make sure that you're focusing on trying to incorporate their interests. That's very important, is to get people involved and enjoying things. Is if you can involve things that they're interested in. Like my clients love the Minions, so we have Minion stickers, and so that really gets them more involved. Is having those things that they enjoy, and incorporating those in. So if you're even if they prefer a specific way of doing art, you can do it in, take that in many different, you don't have to do it a specific way every time. Say you have a client who loves stamps. I'm going to cover the name. And so we use stamps a lot and stuff like that. And we can make these on their folders, and just taking, and specifically if they're interested in a certain subject, being able to do that with different types of art is really a good way to get them engaged, or in play, or in whatever way you are trying to get them engaged. Just incorporating their interests into the things that are important for them, and those goals that you have and that they have too.
Yeah, I think that's great advice, Ash. And I think it was great that earlier you touched on a lot of the adaptive ways to do art as well, such as the marble paintings, and even how it can lead to strength building in the left hand and things like that. Just kind of looking at the environment and different ways to do adaptive art as well, I think is great advice too. Yeah. Well, is there anything else you would like to add, Ash, before we end our conversation today? I would love to know what's your favorite part of working at Family Support Services and at the Activity Center.
As far as the answer to that would be probably the relationships that I've been able to build with these individuals, especially since I've been working here for quite some time. Just really gotten to know them really well, and with each individual, there's their own way of interacting, their own little funny quirks, and just being able to have that relationship and build it, and be able to really feel the good that it does as well. Being able to see the change and the things that they keep, and the fun that they have, and the improvement as well, and then just having fun. I honestly think that more people would want to do this kind of job if they realized how much fun you can have with it if you just let it be fun, and enjoy the individuals for their own unique abilities and the beautiful parts of them. As far as anything else, I'd have to say I just really hope that we can keep this program strong, even if I'm not going to be with the program very much longer. I hope that I can come back as well, but I hope that we can keep Hiawatha and all of its programs, including family supports, going, because there is such a need in the community, and so many individuals out there that could really use the support and the things that we can provide.
Thank you, Ash. And I know you'll be heading back to your master's program soon, but we thank you for everything you've done. And I'm sure, next summer or soon you'll be back working with our programming, and hopefully maybe we'll have some more individuals back to family support services as well by that point, which would be wonderful. But yeah, thank you so much. I'm so impressed by all the activities that you've done this summer in such a short time, and all the great ideas that you have. Ooh.
Sorry.
That's okay. But yeah, so thank you so much. And thank you everyone who tuned in. And I will see everyone next month when we'll do another community conversation. So thank you. Bye.